What is going on, everyone? My name is the California Cougar, and welcome back to another episode of my Survivor Season Series review. This one is going to be for Survivor Cook Islands. It is the 13th season of Survivor, and I've got a few things to say about this season. So let's get right into it. And right off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this season is my favorite season of Survivor. And yes, you heard that correctly. A lot of people tend to rank it like mid-tier, sometimes even lower tier, but I don't get it. I absolutely love the hell out of this season. It's just so memorable. It's got so many memorable aspects. The cast is fantastic. Don't really know why some people haven't been brought back. And like just some of the events. And plus it's got one of the best storylines of any season of Survivor ever. So first of all, let's talk about the cast. So this cast was divided by ethnicity or race, whatever you want to call it. It was the first season to do that. Got a lot of controversy for that, but honestly, I didn't really see too much of a problem with it. It was divided into 4 tribes, just like Panama was. Exile Island did make a comeback. We'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, the cast I thought was fantastic. On the African American tribe, you have Nate. I thought he was really good. Stephanie, she was sweet. She was kind of like the girl that didn't really know what to do. Sundra, she was kind of the underdog story of that tribe. You also have Sekou. Sekou was funny, especially for a first boot. I thought he was a really good character, and him singing about Survivor at the finale I thought was really cool. And then you have Rebecca. Rebecca was just kind of there. Not really much else to her. But yeah, and then you have the Asian tribe with like Brad and Yule and Cowboy. Cowboy was absolutely hilarious. I loved him as a character. His one strategy in that challenge where the I2 tribe ended up winning, like him throwing the fire around, I thought that was hilarious. And it worked. That's what makes it even better. And a lot of people tend to forget about this, but Cowboy was the one who came up with the split vote strategy to flush out an immunity idol. Cowboy was the one that came up with that. Plan Voodoo, no one really talks about it like that anymore. But yeah, he has a dream at night, and he's like, Plan Voodoo, let's split the votes to flush out the idol. And people have been using that strategy ever since. So yeah, as crazy as the guy is, you can say that Cowboy invented a legitimate Survivor strategy. And it's been used so many times ever since. So, yeah, props to him for that. And his whole thing with, like, Brad and Rebecca, or no, it wasn't Rebecca, it was Jenny, I think. Or was it Becky? I don't remember. But him, like, putting the red dots to, like, get rid of headaches, and it working. Like, yeah, he was a weird character, but he was really funny. Like, Brad was fun to watch as well. Yule, we all know how he was. One of the most, like, intellectual, smart players that we've seen. His Winners at War tenure was disappointing, but he did really well in Cook Islands. He ended up winning this season, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Anyway, moving on to the next tribe, we have the Caucasian tribe with Candace and Parvati. Like, I didn't really like Candace too much, but she was alright. Parvati was fun, and we all know how Parvati turns out to be, especially in later seasons. But in this season, she was fun. She was crafty. She was flirting with everybody. And yeah, she was just a fun girl to watch. She sliced her finger open at one point. That was a moment that was like, yeesh. Yeah, and of course, I mentioned Candace already. Adam, their little romance was kind of cringy, but funny at the same time. And yeah, I don't really remember anyone else on that tribe. That tribe's not probably the least memorable of the 4, honestly. And then you have the Hispanic tribe with Ozzy and Billy and Cecilia. I think Christina was on that tribe as well. Oh no, I forgot about, for the Caucasian tribe, Flicka, Jessica, the roller derby girl, losing the chickens in the first episode. And I think, I forgot whether he was on the Hispanic tribe or the white tribe, but Jonathan Penner. Jonathan Penner makes his debut this season, and he goes on to be a Survivor superstar, basically. He never wins, but he plays the game really well. And of course, like, he had to save his ass a few times by catching fish, and then, of course, turning on the old Raro tribe to go with the I2 tribe, and then just getting blindsided at Final 7. That was a moment to remember. But yeah, getting into some of these memorable moments. I already mentioned Flicka with the chickens. The whole Billy Garcia and Candace love story thing. Like, that was cringy, but it was also super funny how he thought, like, Candace was in love with him and all that. And then, of course, Candace gets accused of leading him on later. It was just a really funny moment. And at the finale, it's like, Candace is now available after the whole Adam thing, like, rolled over and finished that. So yeah, that was a funny moment. And of course you have like the tribes kidnapping. The I2 tribe kidnapped Nate, and like Nate gets critical of Brad for not swimming, even though he says he's better at puzzles. The JP blindside, I thought that was a big time blindside, especially toward the beginning of the season. A guy that probably could have gone far, but ended up getting completely outwitted. Yeah, so that was a fun moment. You have the Christina story. She was a cop. She had gotten shot in the leg before. So yeah, that backstory was really good, I thought. But the main story of this season, and I think it's one of the greatest Survivor storylines ever, if not the greatest, is the story of the I-2-4. So I believe it was at Final 12. I think it was Final 12. The 4 tribes had already merged into 2, and there are 6 people on each tribe. And the I2 tribe and Raro tribe are equal in numbers at 6. At the Final 12, there was a mutiny, and Jonathan Penner and Candace, who were both on the I2 tribe at the time, they decided to mutiny and go to the Raro tribe. Nobody on the Raro tribe went over to the I2 tribe. So now it's 8-4 in favor of the Raro tribe. And the I2 tribe, you could tell, like, there was fire in Ozzy's eyes in particular. And then I2 basically goes on to sweep every other challenge from there on out. Oh, I forgot to mention another pre-merge moment where I think it was the I2 tribe that accidentally stumbled upon the Raro tribe's camp. That was pretty funny as well. But yeah, the story of the I-2-4, they sweep the rest of the tribal challenges. There's a twist at Final 11, I believe, with the bottle. It was the one with the bottle, and the Raro tribe, who loses immunity, ends up having to vote off 2 people instead of just 1. They think it's a merge, but in reality, they're voting off 2 people. And it's like, ooh, imagine if the I2 tribe had lost that. They would have been down to 2. And then, of course, there's the big moment at the Final 9 when the tribes merge. Yule with the immunity idol. He had been out to Exile Island so many times. Oh yeah, and also like Candace getting sent to exile so many times as punishment for betraying the I2 tribe and mutinying. Like, it was kind of tragic, but it kind of served her right for doing that. Like, no one really knows why her or Penner did that. I think Penner was sent to exile a couple times as well, but Candace was the one who received the brunt of the punishment for that. And yeah, basically at Final 9, after Yule has the idol, he uses the idol to gain Jonathan, like to try and get Jonathan Penner back on his side. He's like, basically, if you guys vote for me tonight, I'm playing this, and you're going to be the one to go home. So he uses that to his advantage and manages to get Jonathan back on his side. Now, I probably would have been more interesting if Jonathan had not flipped, because then Nate would have gone home that night anyway. Yule would have been forced to play his idol, and then it would have been a 4-4 split at Final 8. That probably would have made things a little bit more interesting, but I didn't really mind it too much. So yeah, like, and it basically sealed the underdog story from that point of the I-2-4, and I just love this story so much. Ozzy goes on a crazy immunity run, and like I think Adam was the only other person to win immunity in that stretch after the post-merge. And then the Raro tribe just completely falls. Jonathan ends up getting blindsided as well. And then Parvati and Adam, they're the last ones to go. There's also Survivor Auction. The Survivor Auction was pretty cool as well. Ozzy with the ice cream machine. That was pretty funny. Jonathan bidding on everything. Parvati with the bath and chocolate cake was cool. Candace getting sent to Exile Island again by Becky after pooling money from Yule. And of course, like, I also forgot to talk about the endurance challenge at Final 9 where they're hanging on the poles and Yule's like, it's like, oh, like he goes into this whole scientific explanation about how like surface area on the pole works. And he's like, that's why elephants can't run up trees. Parvati's like, smart equals sexy. That was a good moment. There's just so many great moments this season. And then, of course, the story concludes with the I-2-4 making the Final Four. And then even the final tribal was a battle of the Titans, basically. Ozzy probably would have gotten voted off if he hadn't won immunity at Final Four. The fire making challenge, like, just watching Becky and Sundra hit the knives forever, going for, I think it was an hour before they switched to matches, and they went another 30 minutes after that. One of the craziest fire making challenges ever because neither of them could get a fire going. Like, basically the jury getting all tired, falling asleep. Ozzy and Yule are just sitting there waiting. It was pretty funny. It was cringy, but it was funny, that fire making challenge. And of course, like, then you get to the final three. Becky knows she's not going to win. It's a battle of the Titans. The big physical powerhouse that is Ozzy versus the strategical threat that is Yule. And I think it ended appropriately. It was tied at four votes apiece, with one vote to determine the winner. Yule wins. I think Yule deserved it. Ozzy goes on to win the Fan Favorite Award. He gets a car. I think it was the first, I don't remember, it was the first or second time the Fan Favorite Award was introduced. I'm not talking about Rupert's final Tribal Council thing from All Stars. I'm just talking about like general Fan Favorite Award for the season. I think it was the first time. It might have been Panama, but I don't remember. But yeah, overall though, just an incredibly fun season to watch. It's my favorite season of all time. It may not be objectively the best season. It was kind of a pagonging after Final 9 up until the Final 4, but other than that, like, I really can't think of any flaws I have with this season. I mean, there's just so many incredible moments. Like, I could watch this season over and over again and never get tired of it. That's how much I love this season. So, yeah, that's my final thoughts on Survivor Cook Islands. It's my favorite season of all time. And I remember as soon as the season ended, I wanted to watch it again. Unfortunately, I couldn't at the time because this season came out back when, like 2006, 2007, something like that. It's pretty old nowadays. It's back in the old school Survivor days. But yeah, from the pre-merge with Cowboy playing Voodoo, all those great moments, Billy and Candace, and then of course the mutiny leading up into the jury of 9. It was the first time a final 3 was implemented, and the first time a jury of 9 was implemented. So yeah, the final 12 were all guaranteed to make the jury. Whereas in previous seasons, it was just the final 9. I also think this was the first season that actually had 20 castaways from the beginning of the game, and didn't like unfairly eliminate any of them at the beginning. So yeah, it was the first season with 20 castaways that would go through the normal process of Survivor, getting voted off at Tribal Council and all of that. Yeah, You're a Rat, I forgot to mention that. With Candace and Jonathan, that little rivalry. Also with Adam. Adam was involved in that rivalry. Like, just fun rivalry with Penner and most of the Railroad Tribe. Nate saying "kiss my ass" in his exit confessional. That was funny. Classic moment. Yeah, just everything about this season has so many memorable moments. Ozzy with the puzzle at the Final 5 challenge. Just so good. So many good memories. And yeah, I absolutely love it. There's not really much else to say other than just to give the season a score. So yeah, of course I'm going to give Survivor Cook Islands a 10 out of 10. It's my favorite season of all time. And it surprises me that people don't have it higher up on their lists of best seasons of Survivor. Kind of disappointing, actually. But nonetheless, I love this season. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. Alright, and there's my review of Survivor Cook Islands. If you've seen Survivor Cook Islands, what did you think about it? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. And make sure to hit the subscribe button for more videos to come in the future. My Pokemon Fire Red playthrough is almost completely done uploading. There's only a couple parts left that I think have to come out. But other than that, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the future. Again, every Wednesday I'll be coming out with a new Survivor review. So stay tuned for that next Survivor review. And until that next review, once again, my name is the California Cougar. And always remember to stay California cool. Peace!